Hello YouTube. Hope you all had a really wonderful Christmas or whatever. I know I did. This video is going to be talking about the books that I got for this Christmas break. They're because I had received money, mostly money and gift cards for stuff. So I went to Barnes & Noble yesterday and I got a bunch of books. And I went to Meijer the day before that and got a bunch of books too, or one book too. So I'm going to talk about the books that I got. From Barnes & Noble, I got Rose Madder by Stephen King, which looks like a really good book because I read the opening of it before and it is pretty intense. It's about this woman who is escaping her husband who is abusive, and she's trying to find a new life for herself or whatever. So yeah, it looks pretty interesting. I got On Writing by Stephen King, which is a really good book. And it's an inspiration to me since I want to be a writer, and it's basically about writing, but it's also an autobiographical type book about some of Stephen King's life, which I find him a very interesting person to read about. So yeah, I got this book. I got Dean Koontz' Frankenstein, which is just like a retelling sort of a Frankenstein, and it looks like a pretty good book. I'll read this book soon, but I can't really wait to read this one either. Sorry about that, I have a cold. I got Needful Things by Stephen King. This book is about a store that opens in the town of Castle Rock, Maine, and it has everybody's desires, deepest desires, and the rarest of things there that don't really require much money, but the people who are selling the stuff, the man who's selling everything, wants the people to play a prank on another person in the town, but the pranks soon become more and more malevolent or whatever. So I'm assuming it leads to a bunch of violence and stuff, so I can't wait to read this book. And it's a thick book too. It's over 700 pages, but it still looks really good. So there's that. There's Ash and Winter by Mike Mullins. This is a sequel of Ashfall, and it takes place 10 months after the ending of Ashfall. And yeah, I found this book there, and I've been looking for it for a while, and I just knew I had to have it because I love Ashfall. So this book will be read very soon. I got Shadows by Strangers by Dean Koontz, and this book also looks good. It's another pretty thick book, and I've only read one Koontz book, but this one looks really good. The font is really small though, but I can overlook that, I guess. So yeah, this book looks really good. I have The Dark Inside by Jen Roberts, and I've had my eye on this book for a while, so I thought I'd get it in paperback. It looks pretty interesting and intriguing. So yeah, it's a YA book, which I like some YA books, but I prefer adult books because they're more complex. But I like YA books because YA books keep my interest more and are faster paced and stuff. But yeah, this book looks really good, and I can't wait to read this one. And it's a really thin book, so I should fly through it. I have Tommyknockers by Stephen King. This is like an alien type book. It's another really long one, and it looks pretty good. And yeah, and I love Stephen King, as you know. He's my favorite writer, so I'm happy to have this book with me or whatever. Then finally, from the Barnes & Noble, I have Divergent, which I heard so many good things about. In fact, half my English class was reading this book, or whatever, was reading this book in the class, so I thought, hey, I'll pick it up and read it, which, yeah. So this book looks really good, and I've heard amazing things about it, so I hope it's just as amazing as what people have said it is. Then from Meijer, I got The Walking Dead, The Road to Woodbury, for 1874 or whatever. And right now I'm reading, Life of the Governor, which I got at the library, and I'm almost done with it. So after I read that one, I'm gonna read this one because I love The Walking Dead. And these books are basically about the governor in the events before he was introduced into The Walking Dead, or whatever, the show, and that's like my favorite show. So yeah, it's a pretty good. It looks like a pretty good book. So I can't wait to read this one. I will read Divergent after I read this book. Then from the library thing I got like on Saturday last week for 25 cents or for 25 cents each. I got S.E. Hinton Rumblefish, which I've read, which shouldn't take me long because it's only like 100 pages and the font is really big. And I've read The Outsiders by S.E. Hinton, which is a really good book. So I can't wait to read this one, which this probably will only take me like an afternoon to read because it's so short. Then the final book I have is 30 Days of Night, Immortal Remains, which is a book about vampires and blood, like really, I think it's like a really gory vampire book, where they have like graphic novels of them. But yeah, this book also looks really good, so I'm gonna read this book soon too. Another thing, I ordered a couple of books on Schuler's because I'd gotten a couple of Schuler's gift cards. And on Schuler's I ordered Insurgent, which is the sequel to Divergent. And then I also ordered Ghost Road Blues, which is the first book in a trilogy series by Jonathan Mayberry about, I think, serial killers or something. I'm not sure. But that book also looks good. And soon I might order on Thrift Books, maybe, if I have to get the money. I'm gonna order probably Jack Ketchum Off Season, because I've heard things about that book, that book's a really disgusting, gory, disturbing book, which will probably be good because I like that kind of stuff in horror. But yeah, those are all the books that I got for Christmas break, and I'm hoping to get a few more soon. So yeah, anyway, hope you have a great rest of the break and New Year and whatnot. So yeah, see you around YouTube.